Hello students, this is Usha from GK Jain High Secondary School, Raipuram. Today we are going to see the chapter Electromagnetic Induction and Alternating Current in 12th Standard Physics. Today we are going to see the new concept Alternating Current. Electromagnetic Induction and Alternating Current Part 6. We are going to see about the alternating current. Whenever there is a change in the orientation of the coil with respect to magnetic field, an alternating EMF is induced and hence an alternating current flows in the closed circuit. An alternating voltage is the voltage which changes polarity at regular intervals of time, and the direction of the resulting alternating current also changes accordingly. Now it is shown in the diagram. The alternating voltage source is connected to the resistor R, in which the upper terminal of the source is positive and the lower terminal is negative. Therefore, the current flows in clockwise direction. After a short time, the polarity of the source are reversed so that the current now flows in the anti-clockwise direction. This current, which flows in alternating direction in the circuit, is called alternating current. Next, we will see sinusoidal alternating voltage. If the waveform of alternating voltage is a sine wave, then it is known as sinusoidal alternating voltage, and the relation is given as V is equal to Vm sine omega t, where V is the instantaneous value of alternating voltage, Vm is the maximum value, and omega is the angular frequency of the angular voltage. When the sinusoidal alternating voltage is applied to a closed circuit, the resulting alternating current is also sinusoidal. So which is given by the equation I is equal to Im sine omega t, where Im is the maximum value of the alternating current. The direction of the sinusoidal voltage or current is reversed after every half cycle, and its magnitude is also changing continuously, that is shown in the diagram. Now we will go to the next topic, mean or average value of AC. So the average value of alternating current is defined as the average of all values of current over a positive half cycle or a negative half cycle. During positive half cycle, current is taken as positive, and during negative half cycle, it is taken as negative. Therefore, when we take the mean value or average value of symmetrical alternating current over one complete cycle is 0. Therefore, the average or mean value is measured over only for one half a cycle. That's why the definition is given as the average value of alternating current is defined as the average of all values of current over a positive half cycle or negative half cycle. The instantaneous value of sinusoidal alternating current is given by the equation I is equal to Im sine omega t, or I is equal to Im sine theta, where theta is equal to omega t. So the equation, that is the sum of all current over a half cycle, is given by area of positive half cycle or negative half cycle. Divided, that is I average is equal to area of positive half cycle or negative half cycle divided by base length of half cycle. So let me consider a smaller part, elementary strip of thickness d theta. Let I be the mid orientation of the strip. Area of the elementary strip is equal to I into d theta. Area of the positive half cycle is equal to, because we are taking only the positive, 0 to pi, so the integral will take the value from 0 to pi I into d theta. Now you substitute for I, so you will get Im sine theta, so into d theta. Now Im is constant, will take them out. Integral of sine theta d theta is minus cos theta. So minus cos theta the whole power, that is applying the limit 0 to pi. So minus Im into cos pi minus cos 0. So cos pi value is minus 1 and cos 0 is 1. So minus 1 it become minus 2. The negative sign which is inside the bracket and outside will multiply. So we'll get a positive value. So we'll get a value of 2Im. So average, substituting this value, we get average value of AC, that is I average is equal to 2Im divided by pi. Substituting the value, we'll get I average is equal to 0.637 Im. Hence, the average value of AC is 0.637 times the maximum value Im of the alternating current. For negative half cycle, I average is equal to minus 0.637 Im. So these are all about your mean value or average value of AC. Now we'll go into the next topic, which is RMS value of AC, or it is called as effective value. So it is given as the root mean square value of an alternating current is defined as the square root of the mean of the squares of all current over one cycle. It is denoted by a letter IRMS. So the alternating current I is equal to Im sin omega t, or I is equal to Im sin theta. It is given in the graph. The corresponding squared current wave is also shown by the dotted line in the graph. The sum of the squares of all current over one cycle is given by the area of one cycle of squared wave. Therefore, IRMS is equal to square root of area of one cycle of squared wave divided by base length of one cycle. So, if we consider an elementary area of thickness d theta in the first half cycle of the squared current wave, then I square be the mid ordinate of the element. So then area of the element is equal to I square d theta. Area of one cycle of squared wave is equal to integral 0 to 2 pi I square d theta. Now substitute for I value, so you'll get integral 0 to 2 pi Im square sin square theta d theta. Im square is constant, we'll take them out. So Im square into integral 0 to 2 pi sin square theta d theta. Now we have learned in our 10th standard trigonometry, sin square theta can be written as 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2. Substituting this value, we'll get Im square integral 0 to 2 pi 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2 into d theta. Now we'll make it as two integrals. Im square divided by 2 into 0 to 2 pi d theta minus integral 0 to 2 pi cos 2 theta into d theta. So you'll get Im square by 2 into theta minus sin 2 theta divided by 2, applying the limit 0 to 2 pi. So Im square by 2 into, now apply the limits 2 pi minus 0. So one value will get it as 2 pi minus sin 2 into 2 pi divided by 2 minus of 0 minus sin 0 by 2. So you'll get the value of Im square divided by 2 into 2 pi. 2 and 2 will get cancelled because sin 0 and sin 4 pi value is 0. You will get Im square into pi. Substituting the value of Im square pi, so we'll get IRMS is equal to square root of Im square pi divided by 2 pi, which is equal to Im divided by root 2. So this can be written as IRMS is equal to 0.707 Im. Thus we find that symmetrical sinusoidal current RMS value of current is 70.7% of its peak value. Similarly, voltage can also be calculated in the same way. VRMS is equal to 0.707 Vm. So this is about your RMS value of AC. Now we'll go into the next topic, which is called as phasor and phasor diagram. A sinusoidal alternating voltage, or if you consider the current, can be represented by a vector which rotates about the origin in anticlockwise direction at a constant angular velocity omega. Such a rotating vector is called as phasor. Phasor diagram. The diagram which shows various phasor and the phasor relation is called phasor diagram. Here one example is given. The diagram you can see it over here. Okay, so consider a sinusoidal alternating voltage V is equal to Vm sin omega t applied to the circuit. This voltage can be represented by a phasor, namely OA vector. So it is shown in your diagram, right? So here the length of OA vector equals the peak value Vm. The angle it makes with x-axis give the phase of the applied voltage. So along the y-axis which give you the instantaneous value at that instant. When OA rotate about O, with angular velocity omega in anti-clockwise direction, the waveform of the voltage is generated. For one rotation, full rotation of OA vector, one cycle of voltage is produced. Now we are going to see AC circuit containing pure resistor. This is a diagram where a resistor is connected to an AC circuit. So consider a circuit containing a pure resistor of resistance R connected across an alternating voltage source. The instantaneous value of the alternating voltage is given by V is equal to Vm sin omega t. And alternating current I flowing in the circuit due to this voltage develops a potential drop across R is given by VR is equal to I into R. So according to our Kirchhoff's loop rule, state that the algebraic sum of potential difference in a closed circuit is 0. So for this resistive circuit, V minus VR is equal to 0. So from the equation, we can substitute as Vm sin omega t is equal to IR, keeping I one side, bringing the R to the other side. So we'll get I is equal to Vm divided by R into sin omega t. Vm by R can be written as Im sin omega t. So I is equal to Im sin omega t. So the peak value of the alternating current in the circuit can be calculated. It is clear that the applied voltage and the current are in phase with each other in a resistive circuit. So this is shown in the diagram. It means that they reach their maxima and minima simultaneously. So this is shown in the phasor diagram. The wave diagram also depicts that current is in phase with the applied voltage. The current is shown in the green color and the voltage is shown in the red color. Both we can see that they start at the same point O. They have the same highest peak maxima and the minimum value. So which shows that they are in phase with each other. AC circuit containing only an inductor. So consider a circuit containing a pure inductor of inductance L connected across an alternating voltage source. So now we can calculate in the same way how we are done for the resistor. The alternating voltage is given by the equation V is equal to Vm sin omega t. The alternating current flowing through the inductor induces a self-inducted EMF in the circuit. The back EMF is given by epsilon is equal to minus L into di by dt. By applying Kirchhoff's loop rule to the purely inductive circuit, we get V plus epsilon is equal to 0. So that we have Vm sin omega t is equal to L into di by dt. Substituting both the values, we'll get that answer. We'll keep di one side, bring all the other terms to the other side. So we will get di is equal to Vm divided by L into sin omega t into dt. Integrating both the sides, we'll get integration of di is I. So here it will become Vm by L constant. We'll take it outside. So integral of sin omega t into dt. Integral of sin omega t is minus cos omega t. So you will get I is equal to Vm by L omega into minus cos omega t plus constant. So it is the constant is independent of the time. So since the voltage in the circuit has only time dependent part, we can set the time independent part in the current into 0. So now whichever the terms which are given in cos, we are able to write in terms of our sine value. So the I value can be, that is cos omega t can be written as sine of pi by 2 minus omega t. So you'll get minus of sine pi by 2 minus omega t, which is equal to sine omega t minus pi by 2. Substituting this value in the given equation, we'll get I is equal to Vm divided by omega L into sine omega t minus pi by 2. I is equal to Im into sine omega t minus pi by 2, where Im is equal to Vm divided by omega L. The peak value of the alternating current in the circuit. It is evident that the current lag behind the applied voltage by pi by 2 in an inductive circuit. So why we are writing the cos into sinus? Because the sinusoidal curve, everything will represented in terms of sine theta. So in the same way, we are bringing the terms and we are comparing with each other. So as we see the phasor diagram also, we can see that the phasor diagram. So in this wave diagram also, it is seen that the current lagged the voltage by 90 degree. Then we'll see what do you mean by inductive reactance XL. The peak value of the current Im is given by Im is equal to Vm divided by omega L. So Im is equal to Vm by R from the resistive circuit which you already seen. So the quantity omega L plays the same role as the resistance in resistive circuit. This is the resistance offered by the inductor called inductive reactance XL. XL is equal to omega L. It is measured in ohms, right? So XL is equal to 2 pi F into L, where F is the frequency of the alternating current. If a steady current flow through the circuit, F equal to 0, therefore XL is equal to 0. Thus, an ideal inductor offers no resistance to steady DC current. AC circuit containing only a capacitor. Consider a circuit containing a capacitor of capacitance C connected across an alternating voltage source. The alternating voltage is given by V is equal to Vm sin omega t. Let Q be the instantaneous charge on the capacitor. The EMF across the capacitor at that instant is Q by C. According to Kirchhoff's loop rule, V minus Q by C equal to 0. Q is equal to C Vm sin omega t. By the definition of current, we have learned in our second chapter, I is equal to dq by dt, d by dt of substituting the value of Q. So you will get d by dt of C Vm sin omega t. C Vm constant, will take it out. So you will get d by dt of sin omega t. So differentiating, we will get C Vm, right, omega cos omega t, or I is equal to Vm divided by 1 by C omega into sin omega t plus pi by 2. As we already told, why we are converting the cos to sin, because it's a sinusoidal wave. Instantaneous value of the current will be given as I is equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2, where Vm divided by 1 by C omega is equal to Im, the peak value of the alternating current. It is clear that from the equations we can say that the current leads the applied voltage by pi by 2 in a capacitive circuit. The same way, the wave diagram for the capacitive circuit also shows that the current leads the applied voltage by pi by 2. The next one is capacitor reactance Xc. The peak value of the current Im is given by Im is equal to Vm divided by 1 by C omega. Let me compare with the first equation. So Im is equal to Vm by R from resistive circuit. So the quantity 1 by C omega plays the same role as the resistance R in the resistive circuit. This is a resistance offered by the capacitor called capacitance reactance Xc. It is measured in ohm. So Xc can take the value which is equal to 1 by omega C. It is varies inversely as the frequency for a steady current, that is F equal to 0. So we have Xc is equal to 1 by omega C, substituting for omega 2 pi F into C. When F is 0, 1 by 0 will be given as infinity. Thus, a capacitive circuit offers infinite resistance to the steady current, so that the steady current cannot flow through the capacitor. Thank you, students. We'll meet you in the next video.